occasion.
Yeah, I mean, it kind of is a statement of intent here where they want to kind of actually start to win lanes instead of just play comeback games. They want to emphasize getting out some more aggressive stance on that off lane. Like,
10
obviously, they
seconds
did pretty well
remaining.
there using the Axe Dazzle to kind of just put pressure out
5
against the
seconds remaining.
silent carry, but I think the Ogre is going to be able to do that even more so. Just focusing down,
Team
doing some
Empire's
good
turn to
harassment,
ban.
bullying back, and always having that regen available. The Venge is okay at like suppressing the Ogre, but a lot of her damage, just the wave tear, the right clicks, like it's not that great when he has so much armor to deal with, so much HP regen. She doesn't have spammable damage. She has
10
quick
seconds
damage. Like she loves
remaining.
to 100 to 0 hero rather than kind of poke and zone them out. So
5
in this case,
seconds
Ogre is going to be able
remaining.
to stay in the lane, sustain, chew through a few tangos, and really just become a nuisance. And later on, the Bloodlust is a huge steroid that will
Dire
help out
team ban.
Era in terms of his farm potential versus whatever Silent brings.
Yeah, the last time Ninjas in Pajamas ran the Ogre Magi was actually versus Cloud9 in the Red Bull qualifier. They did actually beat them in that game specifically. Of course, some of their
10
heroes have been
seconds
taken away.
remaining.
Well, they did get the Queen of Pain. The Lina is on the side of Team
5
Empire
seconds remaining.
for this match. We still don't know if it's going to be a support or a core, but we shall see. Ninjas in Pajamas, standard
Dire
ever
team
since
pick.
Columbus, man. They just ban away that Draw Ranger up against Team Empire, and they're also going to take away the Undying, as we saw the strength of that one in game number 2. I believe. Now we have the Axe and Zeus banned away by Team Empire. Of course, the Zeus, probably one of the better laners versus Queen of Pain, can deal with that kind of harassment pretty well. And then, of course, the Axe as a just solid initiator that Yoda Samfon played to
10
not
seconds
perfection,
remaining.
but had some really good initiations that won fights quite easily.
5 seconds remaining.
And you're breaking up on me too. I hope that we don't have too many connection issues.
Hey,
But
you sound beautiful to me right
okay,
now.
okay,
Team
awesome. And I'll
Empire's
just
turn to
ignore what
pick.
you have to say and go for whatever I got.
Perfect.
But yeah, the Undying is actually something obviously we saw taking out Cloud9 at the tail end of MLG Columbus, and that's something to be respected by NiP. But I'll go for the Disruptor as well. So interesting choice. Obviously, if you're trying to pursue targets, you're trying to kind of pin them down, you get a lot of potential with that glimpse play, and well, obviously with kinetic static.
10
It's going to be good
seconds
for
remaining.
Empire against Empire if they run for a caster-oriented draft. But right now, just
5
against the
seconds
Lina, I mean, she's
remaining.
still going to go for her Yules. I think that she can still play around it decently. So the
Reserve
real question
time.
is, are we going to see something that sets up the Disruptor even more effectively? Are we going to? I doubt we'll see Aranaga Siren, but it's something that has been used in the past for great combos. Now they go up against the Shadow Fiend, and
Dire team
I
pick.
mean they'll at least stop his Requiem pre-BKB.
Templar Assassin.
Ooh, Templar Assassin, the response
Team
here from Ninjas in
Empire's
Pajamas
turn
to
to
the
pick.
Shadow Fiend pickup. We know the TA should be pretty good versus both the Lina and the SF. Presumably the SF is going to be mid, which is good for Templar Assassin because that's the better matchup by far for Templar Assassin. So that should be quite favorable with the Disruptor and Ogre Magi. There's a chance they come in for a gank, but they aren't the best ganking duo in the game, that's for sure.
10
This will now
seconds
relegate our
remaining.
Queen of Pain to being a safe lane farmer, or is going to be
5
run in the
seconds
off lane by
remaining.
Yonasamfon with perhaps an Ogre
Dire
Magi
team
as a
ban.
dual lane, similar to the same vein of thought of the Earthshaker Queen of Pain.
So we've got the negative armor strat once again here. Obviously going with the amplified damage, the presence of the Dark Lord. We're seeing just two BKB dependent heroes who want to get involved, and they saw the
10
strengths of it
seconds
from
remaining.
NiP. They said, okay, well, let's see what we can do with it. And obviously, if the Slardar
5
free farms,
seconds
then that's going to
remaining.
be good momentum. But I feel like the Ogre is going to look to contest the Slardar pretty heavily in the top
Reserve
lane.
time.
And from there, I'm not sure if it's going to be the same kind of tempo that we saw previously. Like that treads, blink, BKB timing from the Slardar, and eventually AC, I think. It doesn't come out that quickly in most games. And I think that's kind of an ideal situation for what we saw from him. But in this game, it'll be maybe him being suppressed in farm, maybe him playing from behind a little bit. And that's where Slardar is kind of weaker, is he's not really good if he doesn't get a good start.
Yeah, we've seen plenty of teams. Team Empire run it a
Team
number of times. We also have
Empire's
seen
turn to
Alliance
ban.
run it with very mixed results. the Loda, Slardar, right, playing very aggressively. We've seen very clearly the upsides and downsides. The Slardar being able to give you amplified damage. The SF just takes over the right-click damage
10
on his own, and
seconds
all you have to do is initiate. But as you said, if you don't manage to get those kills
5
in the
seconds remaining.
rotational phase, when you have that blink dagger and you're looking for pickoffs, if you don't get those kills, you're going to stagnate and farm
Reserve
quite
time.
heavily, because that's just the nature of Slardar. He's not a very good farming hero. It's very slow.
Yeah. Now it's interesting because their picks kind of seem to fall into their draft, but it doesn't feel like they're counter drafting very well against the TA pick here. Do they go for like a Phoenix last pick to try to get some damage over time, multiple instances to deal with the
Dire team
refraction?
pick.
Like I feel that's the only offlaner that can reliably deal that kind of damage.
I think I think that's not a bad idea, but are there any other options that you can think of?
I mean, as far as like, there's plenty of fringe offlaners that could do it. As far as like meta relevant ones, it's hard to say. I mean, I
10
don't know. The one
seconds
problem I have with the Phoenix is he can be Glib's back so easily that if he's up against a
5
tough lane, the
seconds
Disruptor
remaining.
can bring him right back after the Icarus dive, and he can be shut down pretty heavily. So
Yeah.
Reserve time.
I don't know. I'm not finding anything that's like an ideal pick for the off lane beyond just the Phoenix.
Yeah, I would agree. I think the Phoenix is probably the best pickup. In fact, I'm a little bit surprised it wasn't banned away, but NiP banned away the Yoki Sand King, taking that one out of the hands. Team Empire actually banned away the Phantom Lancer, assuming this is going to be an off-lane Queen of Pain or some sort of dual off-lane situation, and there's
I think
still
so.
that safe lane open.
Yeah, I think it is definitely going to be an offlane Queen of Pain. Dual lane with the Ogre. A Queen of Pain Ogre has actually been really building up in a lot of the CIS Dota scene. Just being able to see the strength of that offlane where they can just bully somebody out with a lot of damage over time, slowing effects. And it would be a nightmare for Slaughter to deal with, honestly, because you're slowed so much that you want to pop the sprint to disengage, but then you're just taking more damage from those effects. It's actually really painful. So I think the Ogre Queen of Pain is going to be in that offlane, kind of dealing that damage to him. The Templar Assassin mid and Disruptor +1 on that safe lane. Era could pick up either of the heroes. It looks like Era Sven, though, will be what we're looking at here. And
Empire's
I don't know,
time to
in this position, why Disruptor and why Sven? That's my biggest question. Like, I understand everything about the mid lane and the off lane, but what really is the strength of these two heroes?
Well, you get. I like the idea of Sven as a blink initiator in the same vein of thought of like the Slardar, right? Being able to jump onto the SF. He does good amount of physical damage, so even when you have the BKB up on the SF, you can still challenge him. And you've got that big armor increase, which is going to be helpful versus the SF and Slardar combination. But it can be a very lackluster carry. I agree with you. I feel like Team Empire's lineup is a bit stronger, especially as well. They don't get the Axe, which is obviously has a lot of good synergy with the minus armor, seeing as he outputs so much physical damage. But they do get the Spirit Breaker, which arguably outdoes the Axe when it comes to single target foes physical damage. And you have a lot of melee. Well, you've got the Templar Assassin and Sven, and the Spirit Breaker can definitely mess with them by charging through them in these fights. So I like the Spirit Breaker pickup quite a bit. It gives them some early aggression as well, as the off-lane Spirit Breaker is one of the few that is able to roam into other lanes pre-level 6.
Yeah. I think the Sven is actually probably going to go
Prepare
for
for
just a
battle.
straight Stormhammer Warcry build here. No Great Cleave. If they do want to stack Ancients and farm efficiently, Limp can do that just with the Side Blades instead.
True.
So I think it's still going to be very, like, it's not really a farm-intensive Sven, it's a fighting Sven. He gets his Treads, Blink Dagger, works towards BKB, and maxes that Warcry so they can get involved without having to worry about the negative armor stack of the Wave of Terror, the Amp, the Presence, all that stuff. But another pickup that on the offlane doesn't deal with Templar Assassin. Do you feel like Limp's going to have a pretty good game here? Just kind of, I mean, yes, he's going to get stunned a lot, but as long as he has a refraction, let's say he goes into a fight with refraction having only like 7 seconds left, and then is able to not only use the first set of refraction, but pop it in the middle of the fight. I feel like it's going to be really hard to bring him down, even if Delina gets a bunch of farm.
30 seconds to battle.
Yeah, I would agree. I feel like Limp is going to be very confident about his mid lane situation. It means the Spirit Breaker is not very likely to get a successful gank early on against the TA. I think the matchup is just too strong for the Templar Assassin. Of course, her early game did get nerfed a while back with her refraction charges only being 3 instances to start with, but it's still enough that Resolution should not be able to win that lane, even with a potential rotation. But we'll see how they deal with him going into the mid game, that is. They do offer a lot of control, as you said, and there is a bit of burst damage as well out of Aloha Dance's Laguna Blade. So if they are able to control him, take away those refractions, and burst him down, then you're just left with the Sven. And unless the Sven is really over-farmed, I don't think Empire are going to lose that fight. They do have some pretty good tanky heroes if they get the stat build, which I would presume Resolution's going to go for.
Yeah, we'll see. But right now, it's actually Always Wanna Fly is actually playing Babysitter for the Shadow Fiend, so he can get his soul start. As long as he can get to his first bit of max Necromastery, move in towards somewhere between 9 and 15 souls, that's going to be a good start for him. But it leaves the bottom lane so vulnerable to this 2v2. Like the Slaughter Alina compared to the Ogre Queen of Pain, there's no doubt in my mind who will win that. Dire side have a huge advantage there. So they really need the Venge to make her way down, and it looks like she'll only help for about 1 creep wave and then make her way, stacking up the Mud Golems and now trying to get involved in the lane itself.
Well, we'll see. The Vengeful Spirit, this is really the power, the Queen of Pain and +1, right? The Earthshaker, Ogre Magi, whatever it is. It's like this time around, last time, what was it? What was their lane against? It was against a weaker carry. I think it was like Faces Void, right? So not all, like, he doesn't provide any nukes in lane or anything like that. He's okay, but he's not that impactful in the first, like, 4 or 5 minutes, right? So you had a little bit of deficiency in your tri-lane. This time around, Silent does have some serious nukes, but they're not that effective versus the Ogre Magi because he's got so much armor and so much AP that the physical damage isn't that effective. And then on top of that, heroes like Vengeful Spirit are not very good in these scenarios where their weak range doesn't allow you to play the harassment battle. Top lane, Yoki trying to get away with the charge. Hanskin does not have the glimpse up. He couldn't get in range, or didn't blow it fast enough, rather. Either way, Hanskin misses the opportunity. And Yoki will go ahead and blow the potion and sit on the top rune.
Yeah, that glimpse would have been amazing for the first blood, but it's kind of hard to judge that situation with the kinetic field versus the glimpse. But now that he picks up the regen rune, he's back to full. He's out of tangos, but he's still looking to kind of slug it out a little bit with this Orb of Venom with the Greater Bash. It just allows him to kind of go for right-click trades anytime that Hanskin is pulling, and he's going to know it because of the Radiant Observer ward. So like Arrow, for example, right here, Yoki's just going to walk up, punch him a couple of times, and he just feels like he can trade hits a lot more effectively because honestly, unless the Disruptor has a bunch of clarities, he doesn't do that much damage. His Thunderstrike's not bad for harassment, but with his limited mana pool, he's going to conserve.
Queen of Pain got pretty low in that bottom lane. They had a small engagement around the pull on the medium camp. Ninjas and Pajamas were forced back, and that is a big attribute for Empire to be able to utilize this pull to get a bit of an experience and gold lead over the dual lane potentially. Just depends on how many times they're able to do it. Like that Always Wanna Fly, even blowing the Wave of Terror because it's kind of his job as support, right? You can't afford to just sit in lane and harass. You've got to actually try and get some levels for yourself. So he's going to clear through that camp, get himself to level 3. Big benefit there. Jonas and Vaughn, they're going to try and force him to blink. They do have the Light Strike array ready to go at any point in time, but very smartly played by Jonas and Vaughn, not blowing the blink too early and not getting caught out by Aloha Dance with the response.
A lot of strength with that offlane Queen of Pain, just her mobility. The blink range is insane at level 1, and yeah, I mean, still going to be able to kind of go for a build that trades hits, but they have this great Observer ward. A lot of lane wards wouldn't see the exact position of the Queen of Pain here, but Yazafan going to the side shop immediately gets sent back. I'm not sure exactly what he's trying to pick up from the side shop so early that he's so desperate to go there 2 or 3 times, but yeah, in the end, he just goes, blinks back, and I mean, like, what would he be going for? I kind of think, like, maybe you could rent out a Ring of Regen or a Sage's Mask by, like, holding onto it for 8 or 9 seconds and then selling it back. But other than that, like, why is he so involved in that side shop? Just for the experience range?
Yeah, maybe he's just trying to hide in the trees and get that experience range and doesn't really realize that the laning ward is there and is constantly spotting him out when he tries to hide over there. Mid lane's going not too bad for Resolution, considering it's Templar Assassin. He's beating her out 21-11 compared to the 16-4 on Limp. Resolution hitting those denies. is getting a big lead here, and he's also been able to make sure they control the runes pretty well. I mean, the Spirit Breaker doesn't really have much to do in this top lane, right? He can't gank middle lane necessarily. You're not going to charge that. So it's really just controlling the top rune and going back to XP, the top lane. So they've gotten a lot of control, which has now gotten to resolution the invisibility rune, which means if he holds on to that one, he won't be too afraid of any ganks or even Templar Assassin a solo kill, which is potential when you have that level 6 trap ready to go.
Oh, the smoke pops. They know somebody's there, but it's actually an Invis Shadow Fiend who's just going to go out. If he pops his auto attacks or raises quickly, then that's great. They'll jump on into the river, but it's going to be actually the Venge that shows herself now. Seal Kid walks out, and Resolution just stays Invis. As long as he stays Invis, they can hide under the tower and just make that gank worthless.
Charge onto Seal Kid. They've gotten him isolated. Misraise there, but it doesn't matter. Seal Kid will still end up falling. The kill will go to Yoki. First blood for him, I would say definitely worth it. The Spirit Breaker getting a quick little jump to those like upgraded boots and things. Going to be important for him.
Do you think they didn't know about the Invis rune? The fact that Resolution was missing so long implies that he's used his Invis, but that is obviously something that the path from the Ogre was really weird if they had known about it.
Yeah, even if they didn't know, right, it might be a little bit doubtful. They maybe assume that Resolution is just sitting here, you know, in the middle lane, soaking up experience and waiting for them to leave, and doesn't expect Resolution to make such an aggressive maneuver, like following him down river like that. 6-minute rune, they guarantee that one. Limp will grab Illusions to refill up his bottle. Kind of needed it.
So just looking at early levels, Queen of Pain and Ogre really didn't do that well on the bottom lane, surprisingly. Right now, Queen of Pain is only at level 3, Seal Kid level 2. It's not really the tempo they were looking for from these heroes. I mean, it's okay. Queen of Pain, she's fine with just level 6, but actually it's going to be Venge that gets caught out this time around. The charge might knock Nodskin up onto the cliff. No, he'll be down. Nice glimpse back and kill on the Venge.
The Dream so close to being able to push him uphill, but the Glimpse sends it back. Such a good counter to the Spirit Breaker. And that's going to mean, BKB is all the more critical on the Spirit Breaker when you're dealing with the really easy control of Glimpse against him. So that's going to be something he has to consider the whole entire time and what his item build really needs to be for this game. I'm sure it's going to be drums first to start with, but how quickly is he going to try and rush that BKB is a serious question mark. Resolution stacking up for himself. The hard camp is ready to go, and he will farm that up a bit later after he pushes out some waves. Top lane, we do have a 45 and 27. Sven era is completely free farming. There's not much that Yuki can do to stop it. Just trying to get experience. Compare him to the offlane Queen of Pain, who is only level 3, soon to be level 4. Big difference is this tanky Space Cow. They can't kill him, so they can't force him out of experience range.
So they're just going to send the Queen of Pain mid and stack up for the TA. So TA jungles, the Queen of Pain takes the solo lane, and they've also got some ancient stacks for them. So just a really good overall combination with the fact that they'll be able to benefit from Limp building up quickly in the jungle, and even the Ignite sent out just to make it all the easier. So long term, their cores are going to come online pretty heavily as Jonas and Fan kind of transitions into a solo mid mentality. And Era, he's going to have really good progression here. Probably looking for Mask of Madness. Mask of Madness and Bloodlust essentially makes this hero actually like really good in early fights. And yeah, like I said, he's going to be going for that Warcry emphasis. So they're actually going to be able to engage frequently. But you look at his level, you look at how many skills he's skilled up, and we're seeing a stat build from Sven, which is something I haven't really seen.
Yeah, I'm kind of wondering. I'm not sure if like maxing out Warcry is necessary so early on.
Sure.
So I'm down with only level 2. The only level 2 in Stormhammer is kind of interesting, but I could kind of get behind it. But if you're going for a stat build here, that also implies kind of hard carry Sven, right? I'm surprised he hasn't gotten any levels in Greater Cleave just yet. But as you said, if they go for stacks, those are going to be farmed up quite easily by Templar Assassin. So I suppose if they're splitting the farm between the two of them, it's not necessary. Yoki going to be caught out here. Pulled back. He's still tanky enough, though, that he can't charge away right before the Ogre Magi is able to get that. Now look at this smoke gank, though. Empire, they're going to try and turn this one around. Resolution coming in with the haste rune. Wants to be able to chase down Hanskin, who does not have that glimpse available. Loha Dance needs to be able to land the Light Strike Array here. The whole back Light Strike Array, or just the nukes to be able to finish him off the right-hand side to get the stun onto Era. The charge is coming out. They're going to dive for this one. The TPs in are coming out. It's going to be the Templar Assassin. And Empire, maybe they've just overextended themselves. They still have the haste rune and Resolution. They're going to be able to force back Hanskin. And, well, Empire kind of getting sandwiched right now, but there's just not enough. Like, the Queen of Pain's a non-factor. Era can't do anything without a stun. So it's just the sandwich. There's a moldy piece of bread on one side. Limp and Hanskin were really the only damage there available.
Yeah, really, there was no fight potential for NiP at that moment. I mean, as long as Empire stuck together, they were up against a concave, but they, generally speaking, just have more strength with more stun potential, and yeah, they were willing to take the fight. So that just creates some space for the Slardar. Empire only get a little bit out of that gank, but just, I mean, the fact that the gank started off by Yoki actually being engaged upon and those abilities stacking up hard, the glimpse back as well as the Stormhammer, that was not the way they needed to use those skills to really actually have a chance at killing off that Spirit Breaker. So, unfortunate, but Era just gets the Mask of Madness, goes to the jungle, and so far is building himself up pretty quickly.
2-1 it is. By the way, if you guys are just now joining us, I know a lot of matches are ending. This is the best of 5 in the Dota 2 Champions League Winners Bracket Finals. This match, this last game, will actually determine who's going to be going to the LAN Finals here in Germany and who is going to be going down to losers bracket to play in a best of 3 up against Balkan Bears. That match will actually happen tonight. Probably a short break for the losing team just to be able to get a bit of recovery, maybe get some food, but we will play that best of 3 tonight. So if you guys want to join us for all of that action, we would love to have you. We do have a smoke gank up from Empire. They have found Era, but they will not catch him out. Mask of Madness and Warcry makes him super duper fast.
Yep, really good to disengage here, and they're going to be perfectly fine and know what's up, so Van can play very safely as well. But yeah, Silent has that Blink Dagger, looking to maybe get a little bit aggressive with it. The Radiant Observer Ward shows the Queen of Pain, and this is the bush that they're going to check. They're going to be looking for an opportunity to jump, and Silent takes the high ground.
So we see the save skill points of Sven going into the maxed out graded cleave. We do have well, there goes the ultimate swap out. Silent going to be saved. Always want to fly. Torn to bits. They are going to be able to be chased by Ninjas in Pajamas. Nice light strike array. They get off the ultimate from Resolution. Trying to pop. Eric gets them too. That is going to be very nicely played by Resolution. And Yoki coming in trying to go for the kill on Hanskin, and he'll get it too, but it may cost him his life as he's fighting into 3 different other heroes. He ends up dying. Triple kill for Limp. And that was an engagement that Empire did not take, man. That was behind the Tier 1 tower. Very questionable setup by them. At least, at the very least, like that big play from Resolution, getting out the Requiem of Souls and being able to pop Era was kind of a saving grace, but in the end, they do still lose that fight.
Yeah, I mean, I like the stance that the Slardar took. He cut down a tree here on the high ground that he knew he could see into this area that the Queen of Pain was hiding, but there's just too many reinforcements, and they got pretty much bit off more than they could chew. And although I generally try to avoid straight-up callouts, Aloha Dance cast the Laguna Blade on a full HP Refraction TA, so that was pretty useless.
Yeah. Oh, nice combination here. The counter ward actually blocking out the Ancient stack and also giving vision of whether or not there's a ward there. Jonas Sampan going to be found here, stunned up, light strike array, burst him down, but NiP are here with reinforcements. They've already thrown out the stun on the Resolution. Nice dodge with the Yule Scepter. Can he actually get out with the stun on the Limp? Glimpse back. Era's there with the damage. They're going to try and go into Resolution, but it's too much confusion. The swap out. Era ends up dying with the Mask of Madness active, while Limp barely gets off the Refraction, trying to get away from Silent. The stuns are going to come out. Hanskin's done for. He's going to be left behind. Silent wants some more. Blink forward, gets the stun. Limp, 2 more Refraction charges, 1 more Refraction charge. The Bash goes out, and they get the kill. Farther up, the last hero alive is going to be the Ogre Magi, but he is not going to be alive for very long as he's chased down ultra kill for Resolution. Wow. And Jonas Sampan is left with the question mark on his head. What do I do to upset this? I was the first to die, I was the first to come back, but I can't actually stop Empire from running over my team.
Yeah, it's really tough. I mean, there's no way to engage into this real position. Sonic Wave, he can wait it out, but Roche is dead by then with all that negative armor. And now it's just the real big difference in my mind from that fight was the performance of Disruptor in the 2 flashes. Hanskin in the first one got an amazing kinetic static storm, locked in a couple heroes, and they were able to really fight in that choke point. This time, the kinetic, the 3 heroes that were within it were able to walk out thanks to the empowering haste of the Spirit Breaker, and the static storm was on cooldown until later. So it was awkward control from the Disruptor. Obviously, Hanskin just outperforming in the first one, but of falling short the second time around, and this time Lena did connect with that Templar Assassin. Got the Laguna Blade against her, and really, if the TA is without refraction, she becomes very squishy. Like, we saw that she was running around with like no HP, couldn't actually turn a man fight even with a full refraction because of just her state of her health pool. So just a great way to start the fight for Empire. They bring it back, they secure Roshan, and another big aspect of it was resolution. Dodging out. He didn't dodge the Melt Strike, but now he's going up a Disruptor. And he also dodged that Stormhammer earlier, which is a great way to keep him in the fight.
Yeah, absolutely. He gets the Tier 1 tower down in the process. The creeps push that one out, so huge infusion of gold here for our SF, who just got the Blink Dagger, already has another Ogre Club on top of that to start building into the BKB, and that gold's going to come quickly if these towers continue to fall. The Tier 1 tower in middle lane is now going to be threatened. Yoki on his way. They've already read it, so I doubt Seal Kid's going to be caught. Sure enough, he's TPing away, but it's NiP playing defense right now and giving more and more ground to Empire, and that actually allows them to go for a Midas on the Slardar. Now, this is one of those things we've seen before on Slardars, whether it's before or after the Blink Dagger. It's kind of questionable whether or not it's actually effective. It's the right idea, right? Which is that the Slardar has issues with farm because he doesn't farm very quickly, and he's most of the time first into the fight and usually will end up dying thanks to sprint and everything else. He doesn't have a whole lot of way to make that recovery. The Midas kind of ensures, hey, 35 minutes in, 45 minutes in, you will have an Assault Cuirass no matter how badly you're doing. So the investment of gold is nice, but it also leaves him very susceptible in this period of time. He's squishier than he normally would be if he had just gone for like a straight BKB.
Sums it up pretty much perfectly. That is exactly the state of affairs for the Slardar here, and yeah, he'll try to stick to it. Shadow Fiend gonna kill off another tower, so they get all this gold that he's gonna be able to very quickly turn the Midas into more. But yeah, as far as the side of NiP go, it's just like they kind of seem a little scattered now. They're trying to find their farm. Condensed, actually going to be a crush in the pit here. It's Hanskin just getting caught. I mean, the Radiant Observer Ward, there were two that were covering. One on the plateau and one to the west. They get one of them, but the other just leads to the Disruptor's death the second time in just a minute and a half.
Oh, turns around for that little bit of extra damage, but it's going to have him caught by Yoki's ultimate, and the last right click from Silent is not enough. He lives with just 10 HP. Oh, dear. Aloha Dance actually running in. They're going to try and catch up. Do they blink for this one? That's too aggressively. Aloha Dance is now in some trouble to get the stun, but they do have rotations. Jonas Samfan is on the way, and he's got his ultimate ready to go. Silent, hiding in the side, quick blink away. Nice play. Quick reactions from our Slardar, and the rest of Empire will be getting out. I can't help but wondering, what were NiP doing there? I mean, inside, like, they were sitting here with like 3 or 4 members in the Roshan pit area anyway. And then Hanskin goes in to deny the ward, which is obviously going to be a bad idea. He's going to die to the charge. It's always going to happen with the support.
Yeah. I think that they were trying to kind of provide dire coverage here so that they could get a glimpse back if it was a charge, but the connection from the Blink Crush is a little bit different, and he wasn't actually able to get Silent to disengage from him. So yeah, they were trying to de-ward, couldn't actually get the kill on the ward during the Sentry ward. I think that maybe a lot of uphill misses, so they put down the Psionic Trap to help him out. He gets the vision, he finally gets the D-ward, and then it just turns into a snowball of people dying left and right as they get dove all the way up to the steps of their base. Like, it's just one small mistake turns into a lot of pain for the side of NiP, and yeah, well, they've proven to themselves to be beyond a difficult situation in terms of comebacks, but this is going to be a pretty tough game for them. I mean, Queen of Pain's still level 9. I think that's one really big issue, is their overall experience for their team is weak. Like, if Ogre had a bunch of levels, that would be bloodlust for all these carries. The TA, the Sven hitting hard, and instead, one shot.
No, Resolution not going to be able to pop Seal Kid right away, but the support obviously is there. And the Requiem of Souls is good enough zoning to make sure that NiP are not going to go in. The Light Strike Array going to land on Jonas Samfan. They have the damage necessary to get the double kill for Resolution. Now the charge forward. Lim going to be caught here by Amplified damage, plus the right clicks, bash, and greater bash. They've got them all. Empire locked down that Templar Assassin damn easily, and it seems, Blaze, we've had a very back-and-forth series, but this could be a short game number 5 at the rate that Empire are growing their lead.
Yeah, it's just really difficult for NiP to find a way to turtle the game. The Conscan gonna get picked off, the glimpse back is gonna prevent the Nether Strike from coming through. An old Nether Strike might have just globally gone through, but in this case, Hanski popping everything, just trying to disengage, and it will succeed.
Oh, he got
Like
him!
the last
Oh,
right click. Oh
what?
my!
Dire's middle tower has
Wow, I really
fallen.
thought the attack speed was there for the
Radiant's
Vengeful
bottom
Spirit to get that
tower is
last
under
kill, but
attack.
never mind. Barely
Phase boots,
survives.
dude. Friggin' Venge phase boots. You don't
Yeah.
get that attack speed.
That was a good play though from Hanskin, like throwing down the silence, knowing that the swap is available, and then TPing out like that.
Yeah.
It's close, a little bit close for comfort, but in the end he does successfully pull it out. We got Yoki, who I'm presuming is going to be building into a BKB soon. He's got 2,100 gold. Is there anything else you think he should build? Is the Shadow Blade a viable pickup in order to deal with the Glimpse?
Not really. I mean, as soon as Hanskin sees it, he'll just carry it around dust and sentries, and then he'll still get the glimpse off. So I think BKB is pretty much your way to approach it, but he wants to actually add value to his team, and he's actually going to go for a Crimson Guard here. So essentially, each individual right-click coming in, they might be hitting fast because of Mask of Madness and Bloodlust, but they won't be hitting hard thanks to the block effect of Crimson.
Yoki, charge away! Oh my god, he almost got out. Glimpse too strong though. Yoki caught and will be right-clicked down by the rest of NiP. I can't believe, like, if the Disruptor wasn't there, that he almost got out. The AoE of that charge bash is so insanely high. Like the the fact that Sven actually got bumped there before he could get off his stun was pretty insane.
It is quite ridiculous, but let's look over at Empire's wards. I mean, they are fully offensive. They are just, I mean, in the mid lane, on the bottom lane, covering it up perfectly so that there's no way to defend. They actually are just going to lose their tower outright. Nothing they can do but try to trade. And in their draft, the one thing they're really weak about is counter push, turtle. They really can't hold the high ground easily. And I guess that's why you go for the Crimson Guard on Spirit Breaker now. Like, long term, it's a bad item this game because the Meld Strikes, the God Strength crits, Sven and Tia are going to hit really hard, and 50 damage here or there isn't going to make the difference. But right now, since we're looking to kind of push in while NiP have this significant disadvantage in farm, it's actually something that could allow them to tank up and to keep pushing and to finish this game before there is an opportunity for comeback.
BKB is almost up for our Templar Assassin. That will add a significant amount of team fight for the TA, who's been heavily controlled so far by the number of stuns. Still on some of those physical stuns though, with the cow as well as the fish, bash and greater bash. It's a rough combination to deal with if you're being right-clicked by both of them.
Definitely.
Look at that gold per minute though. I've been keeping it up for a while. 650 gold per minute on resolution. We now have the Slardar bumping over the 10k marker as well, the second hero to do so, ahead of the Templar Assassin and very much a hard ahead of the Sven.
So, I mean, right now, I feel like NiP are just going to let them take everything until they can draw the line at the tier 3. So they'll fight in the choke points, up the hill with the kinetic static storm, and only the BKB heroes would really be able to commit to an engagement like that. So that's pretty much where they're going to draw the line. Era farms this BKB. They're kind of priming themselves for that fight a little bit, but if the fight happens elsewhere, if it happens outside the base in the Roche pit, even with the TA's vision, unless they sneak it first, I don't see NiP having any chance of going for that.
Oh, I always want to fly. I like what you're doing there. He embraces it, right? He knows he's dead. The moment there was a lightning and that first TP came in, he was like, well, I'm dead. So he just turns, fights as best as he can. He split pushed pretty heavily, got that tower quite low. He was actually intending to push down that tower with the rest of his team. Countered the split push at bottom lane, but now they're actually just going to go for a straight-out fight. Hanskin's going to be the first target. Era can go for the stun here onto Yoki. They're actually going to go burst down Silent first. Support for a course so far as Yoki's now going to fall as well. Yule Scepter onto one, but it's not going to be enough to save Yoki, it seems. He finally dies. To Era right-clicks. Aloha Dance going to be the next target. Light Strike Array doesn't actually land. Kills Jonas Sampan, actually, so it does land exactly as intended. Aloha Dance well played, but Empire throwing away some kills. No idea why they thought they can make that kind of dive, but the damage is immense from the Sven when he pops that God Strength and uses the Mask of Madness as well.
Yeah, he was hitting for over 300 per hit. I mean, it's just absurd how much he's able to accumulate just from his current basic items. I mean, the stats build is actually working really well here because he's got a ton of plus strength. Not just the 8 from Treads, the 10 from BKB, and the 6 from the Bracer, but a lot more from the stats, and that just adds up to 300 damage per very fast hit. So they engage 4v5 intentionally, thinking the Vengeance Aura would do something, but it really, they still just got absolutely crushed, and Era couldn't even get involved. Like, he was nowhere near, or sorry, Resolution couldn't even get involved. He was nowhere near that, just farming on his own side, and yeah, I really question their movement there. It feels like that's a big advantage to give away for nothing.
24.5 minutes in, we've got Roshan number 2 available. The SF is about to complete a butterfly, significant mitigation of damage up against both the Templar Assassin and the Sven, neither of which should be getting an MKB anytime soon. They're actually going to try and sneak in Roshan for themselves. Empire are going for a smoke gank. If they get near the Roshan pit, they'll know what's happening. Always want to fly. Go in. Wave of Terror reveals. NiP now, question mark. Do they continue to go for it? The charge is coming in. They make the jump. Roshan's getting low, but Era's already being blown up. Limp is trying to steal the Aegis, but he's not going to be able to get it. Oh, he snatches it. Resolution, no one can pick it up in time. Limp is going to be able to survive a bit longer on the left-hand side, though. They've already blown up the rest of NiP. Limp is going to be left alone. He gets a couple of kills there inside the pit, but it's now him and Aloha Dance. Or him versus Aloha Dance and Silent. Life number 1 goes down. I don't think they can go for life number 2. Light Strike already.
But they're gonna.
They're gonna try for it. The refraction goes off. Chain stunning him down with the amplified damage. They do get the damage enough to kill him. Nicely played. Triple kill for Aloha Dance. Templar Assassin, though, snatching that Aegis, pulls not victory out of the jaws of defeat, but pulls a little bit less of a harsh defeat out of that. Because, boy, if he had not gotten that Aegis, that would have been just a total disaster. Like, the fact that he got that Aegis, he managed to get a couple of kills with it. If Resolution had picked it up, completely different engagement there, right? Because he doesn't die, he comes back, he kills Templar Assassin. They push down middle lane and force some buybacks, but fortunately, Ninjas and Pajamas are going to be able to defend just fine up against just 2 members of Empire. Still, though, a lot more farming time for Empire, that's for sure.
Yeah. And just, I mean, obviously they executed the final fight there really nicely with the chain stuns, the bashes, a little bit lucky, but overall, TA outnumbered is her biggest weakness right now. 6 instances of refraction are a lot easier to chew through when you've got 3 or 4 heroes just pounding away at the person, and that's going to open up opportunities to Laguna even through the BKB of the Templar Assassin. If let's say 3 people right-click the TA twice. Even with the BKB, Aloha Dance is still able to just go for 675 pure damage, soon to be 950, and that makes the TA look like flypaper. Like the very first time I played Lina with the Aghanim Scepter upgrade that just goes right through the BKB, played against the TA, and it made her life miserable, but it's only when you know the refraction's down. And so the control that they're bringing is the important thing here. Going back to that last fight, the best thing in the world was the Disruptor Kinetic Static Storm. It did a lot of work against Empire since they were all committed to that pit, but it's still overall really nice for the fact that Empire were able to jump in before NiP were able to sneak it, which I think still was a really smart call from them because they can do it so quickly, but in the end didn't work thanks to the smokes.
Lim starts building into that MKB. Thanks to that excellent fight for him inside the Roshan pit, getting 3 different kills there, was able to purchase up the Demon Edge, and just another 2,000 gold will have the MKB. So it's a start. Really didn't think they were going to be able to build it anytime soon. Era is not going to be going for it, at least not right away. He has a plate mail for now, something similar to what the Slardar's rocking, or rocking soon anyway. He's got a Hyperstone and a plate mail and just 10 gold. So the Assault Cuirass will be coming up quite soon for the Slardar. That's going to be a big damage upgrade, and as well as a bit of mitigation against all this physical damage.
So we'll see here. Charge cancel. Don't want to commit to something when they don't know exactly where the enemy is, and they've already taken 1 bad engagement where they overcommitted unnecessarily. They don't want to really risk that now when they're on the verge of picking up that AC. That's going to really secure their potential to fight because actually Shadowking finding a kill. Yeah, that's a Requiem.
Yeah, that's the old Yule's Blink Requiem. Too strong. But go ahead.
Yeah, it's just like if you add up the numbers on how much of an armor advantage they have, even against Warcry, it's ridiculous. But now
oh my god, there goes the pure damage. Silent got a bit lucky on his bashes, brought him low enough that the Laguna Blade was enough of an instant kill. Always want to fly, making sure that Silent does survive. He had the sprint going on, so pretty dangerous to leave your Slarda that far forward. And with that 2 different pickoffs in a row, they can push uphill now, perhaps force the buyback out of the Sven, or get some damage onto that tier 3 tower.
Yeah, these spells, I mean, they're just using their ultimates so effectively to just completely dominate NiP right now and forcing a BKB charge on top. Usually you talk about the fact that you just wasted 10-second BKB. I'll talk about the fact that you just wasted an 80-second cooldown. And now on respawn, if they were able to push forth, that would be a really big issue. But they're going to, again, just take what they know they can. And it's actually going to be a deny of the tier 3 tower from the TA. So at least NiP takes a little bit of that gold off the table. And again, back to farming. And Silent really wants this AC. At that point, that's a 10 armor boost to your advantage of armor over your opponents. Because you get +5, they lose 5. You add in 2 from the Crimson Guard. You take away 6 from the Wave of Terror, as well as from the Presence of the Dark Lord. It really makes this Warcry seem like nothing. Like, usually you get to talk about how beefy physical damage a Sven lineup is. But in this context, they don't compare. They have a Ring of Aquila and Warcry versus all that I just listed on the side of Empire, and they're able to hit harder.
Yule Scepter to dodge. They still have the control. No, the instant blink away. Aloha Dance actually managed to get out farther down. Always want to fly. Glimpse back, and is not going to be escaping. But still, the 3-man Smoke King only results in a kill on a Vengeful Spirit. I think Empire will be happy with that trade-off.
It's just, the Veg is perfectly fine to sack his life for the greater good here. They're still protecting their lead. It's still just a moderate amount of gold going the way of Queen of Pain here. 450 for a kill. It's a nice boost, but it's not putting them back in the driver's seat of this game. And beyond that, of course, we've got the just farm game coming in from Empire. Yoki will look towards that BKB next. Not sure if he even finishes it this game, as like right now the tempo just seems to be outpacing that item pickup.
23-14. It's 31 minutes in. We have over a 15,000 gold lead for Team Empire, 15,000 experience as well. NiP is about to finish up that MKB, but you gotta wonder if it's gonna be enough at this point. Resolution is gonna have a Scotty quite soon. He's already got one of the ultimate orbs. DD for him. They also have probably gonna be waiting out Roshan. If they want to push uphill, it'll be with an Aegis. And I believe that'll be Aegis and Cheese, in fact.
Yeah, so at this point, I mean, the MKB is nice for the TA, but she needs more. Like, they honestly, I think, need a Linked Sphere to put on one of their cores, and the Queen of Pain is just so far behind that that's not an option. Like, she's getting her Aghanim Scepter here at 31 minutes, and she's not even level 16. She'll go for a BKB next. So yeah, no Linked Spheres this game, and as a result, I really feel that Empire are just going to be able to crush them in their next couple of team fights. Their ultimates are just far more impactful than what NiP bring. I mean, you've got Requiem, Laguna Blade, your amp damage, your Nether Strikes. The only one that really makes the big difference is the Static Storm from the Disruptor. Otherwise, it's just a lot of utility, steroid, that kind of stuff. The Queen of Pain, she wants to be impactful, but it feels like her momentum has just been crushed this game. She's down near the bottom of levels and experience per minute. It's just the damage isn't as palpable as it could be.
Do you agree with Hanskin's choice to go for a Ghost Scepter over trying to rush the Aghanim Scepter? 5-man smoke hold up here. NiP are going to be able to find an opening here. Always want to fly the first target. And Empire, again, another smoke gank, and all they got was the Vengeful Spirit. Or did they? Yoki brought back with a glimpse. Silent makes the initiation onto 2 with the BKB activated. He's trying to lock down Era as best as possible. Era pops the ultimate and now says, you want a man fight me? Let's go. Ultimate goes out. Laguna Blade. No, it doesn't go through refraction. Why? Resolution fighting underneath that ultimate of the Static Storm, but will not be able to survive against the 2 damage dealers. Oh my god, he got off the ultimate. He gets a triple kill with it. Oh, Ninjas in Pajamas do not manage to take out the SF and the double ultimates that are used there. One from the regular ultimate and the other one the death animation. The Requiem of Souls get 3 different kills. What should have been such a great fight for NiP has a bit of bite to it from Empire.
Oh man, like it really was just it looks like a techie suicide right there, just dropping down at the last possible second. He gets that Requiem off, and suddenly he does 3,500 damage in a fight that he barely used anything in. Like, just the Requiem was almost all of it. And yeah, it takes out the 3 cores. Of course, it takes down the 3 heroes that are focusing on the hardest, and they're close enough in proximity to all go down. What should have been them just breathing a sigh of relief as they take down a tremendous fight. They get to farm the map, push the tier 1s. Instead, it's the Disruptor and Ogre looking at the bloodshed battlefield, and it's not enough. And now that you talk about that Ghost Scepter, nice, nice. But the Ghost Scepter here, I really feel like it's just all you can really ask for at this point. Just try to deal with some of the physical damage coming in, and then long-term still look for that Ags. As you can see, he's just picking up the point booster now based on how amazing that fight was. But I feel that although Disruptor's Ags is very powerful, people forget that like you still have to get them before they pop the BKBs, or they're going to be immune either way.
Right. All right, Aghanim Scepter. And an Ogre Club for Jonas Fan. The Scotty's almost finished up for the SF. He's getting closer and closer to that big stat increase. We also even have Slardar. We rarely see this. It seems like he gets to Sulcuris, and that's about it. But the Midas definitely playing out big dividends here, and he also hasn't died too often. I mean, you excuse his throwaway death at that Tier 3 tower. Remember, he popped the BKB and got torn apart by their physical damage. You excuse that one, and he's only has one other death, right? And I think that one other death, I can't remember it, but it was probably a necessity. Right, seeing as he's the initiator. So he's been playing really well in the Slardar here. The limited number of deaths that he has now allowed him to be able to farm up to the bigger items that we don't really see on Slardar too often, such as the Heart next.
Yeah, that's huge. Heart is going to allow him to just get that much more in the front line and try to deal with the damage that the Sven brings. It doesn't scale on Slaughter nearly the same way that it would on the Sven, but the fact that he has that extra tier of item above the Sven is just really nice. Like, I think, yeah, Arrow's just now begun the AC, really. He's going to be able to close it out in about 500 gold. But even then, he's going to be the one to need the heart. And the fact that Slaughter can hold that over his head, have that item advantage, it helps. Now they go for the Roche. They will pick up the Aegis onto Resolution.
Yeah.
And yeah, Slaughter, the Silent, will be holding the cheese.
So big increase of sustain now for Empire in their next team fight. They have Silent moving into the enemy jungle, looking for a pick-off. He's quite separated from the rest of his allies, as it seems like they just want a 5-man down mid. A pick-off would be nice, but it doesn't seem like it's necessary, as Ninjas in Pajamas are going to be forced into the hard question. Do they leave the racks go down, or do they actively fight into Aegis and Cheese? Without Tier 2 towers up, it seems like the answer has to be fight. You just give up this melee racks, they're going to go ahead and just rotate up to top. Give him an inch, and Empire will take a mile. We do have Limp. He gets a bit of damage on the Resolution. Nothing major.
Hanskin's got this kinetic static. He wants to use it. They glimpse back. They lock Resolution in place. They're waiting for them to pump up.
Oh, but Limp's the first target. They're able to already blow him up. Jonas Savant gets a Sonic Wave out. Empire, though, now on the retreat. The stun on the Silent. They're going to try and lock him down. Seal Kid, good swap out. Silent should be able to get himself away. And the rest of Ninjas in Pajamas, they bought back on the Templar Assassin, but are unable to push forward.
In fact, they're actually refreshing in the fountain right now, and the amp damage shows the Ogre is pretty much useless right now. He pops a Clarity trying to heal up as quickly as possible, but the Earn Charges are coming out on Resolution. He's getting back into it. I don't think they commit with Silence HP pool, though. Like, you'd have to cheese almost immediately upon initiating. And there's a lot to fight into now. 3 Templar Assassin traps, the Kinetic, the Static, the AoE Stormhammer, and the Sonic Wave off cooldown thanks to the Axe Scepter.
Man, these like static pushes are so hard to deal with when you got amplified damage going in. They're going to jump onto Limp again. They want to be able to take out this Templar Assassin, trying to lock him down. Light Strike Array and everything being blown, but it's not enough. Instead, they get the kill onto Era. Bash up. Limp fighting up against Silent is winning this engagement until Resolution comes back. Silent on the way out, but no, he's not able to make it away. Era comes back with his buyback. Will take out Always Want to Fly or Willie. The Scotty slowing him down. The right clicks, and he's actually living. The poison tick, tick, tick. Meanwhile, Hanskin is actually going to be able to get himself away. Finally, the Vengeful Spirit dies. Resolution forced back into the glimpse. Era right on top of him, hits the stun. There's nothing they can do to save their SF, it seems. In fact, when Lina tries to get close, she immediately dies. Jonas, oh god, not again. Resolution gets off the ultimate. This is going to decrease their damage. Silence now back, and he's fighting up against Jonas Samfan. Couldn't get the damage necessary. Resolution glimpse back again a secondary time as he blows up in front of Hanskin's face, but not enough damage to get the kill. And Silent left a lonely man as the rest of Empire have all faded away.
Yeah, and he bought back for this too, but more buybacks were expended on the side of NiP to hold this high ground, but hold it they do. They don't even use the glyph. They only take some damage on the range tracks, about 500 there, but copying those buybacks, they're able to still persevere and get the better end in terms of gold and experience. It's actually like glimpsing back the Shadow Fiend right when he's about to die, people are like, oh my gosh, you just did damage to your team. No, you gave them golden experience because of the AoE bounty, and that's really important for them to progress beyond their buybacks. Like, even though he had to buy back, we now see that Era is about to finish his AC, and the Queen of Pain is actually better off as well.
So 3 different buybacks used on the side of
Well, I
NiP.
just looked at this. Queen of Pain, I took a note of her experience right before this fight. She was 15 and like 80% of the way to level 16. She's about to hit 20. Like, that's the experience rubber band for you.
Yeah, that's pretty insane, Jonas. He's got BKB Aghanims with that level 3 Sonic Wave. He's going to be a much happier person when it comes to Empire pushing into the base. You could start spamming out that Sonic Wave, not once every creep wave, but once every 2 creep waves. It is still a significant buffer against the Team Empire team. And there's another gigantic upgrade. Hanskin now has the Static Storm Aghanims upgrade that will be able to stop those BKBs potentially. The Yule Scepter from Aloha Dance. And is there any other actives you want to talk about? Crimson Guard? Eh. It's mainly just the BKB and Yule Scepters of Empire.
Yeah, essentially. I mean, you've got some magic wands, you got some TP scrolls, not really much of it matters too much, and really, as long as they get it before the BKBs come out, that's the big thing. It just forces the SF to use it right before he blinks in, and the same with the Slider. They have to choose their engagements very carefully, knowing that that Axe is in hands, and for the other heroes, it's just, they're actually going to be completely caught out. Like Aloha Dance, you can't Yules before you blink. You have to just commit, and when Aloha Dance gets caught inside the Static Storm, it's either always want to fly swaps him out, or he dies without casting anything.
Ninjas in pajamas on the edge of a knife right now. This is game number 5 in a best of 5 winner bracket finals. The winner goes to the LAN in Germany. The loser has to face up against Balkan Bears Corleone tonight. Has to play a whole nother series. It's 31-23. One more push and Empire will be able to maybe not win against NiP, but seriously cripple them by being able to take that first set of Raxes. But the Ninjas, they've played very defensively so far. They've gotten some upgrades. They've taken away that Aegis and Cheese.
Radiant's bottom tower is
They're
Another
hoping
glyph.
that'll be enough to be able to take a
Radiant's
fight.
bottom tower has fallen.
Yeah, but they pop the glyph for almost nothing. They blink away immediately, and NiP, they can't find their engagement just yet. They're waiting. They're trying to find the opportunity. Obviously, testing their glimpse whenever they get the chance, but in the end, it's got to be just the perfect kinetic static. It's got to be Empire committing and clumping up, and that's when NiP can strike. They have to make this fight perfect because they don't have buybacks to fall back on 3 of their heroes.
Silent, the first target here. Yule Scepter glimpse back. Silent, a big control, but Seal Kid's actually going to go down for free here. They turn around Sonic Wave, but now Limp is actually being controlled. He may actually go down. He can't afford this. Jump in, Silent trying to get those last right clicks. A refraction save. He lives. Melt Strike to dodge, and now Era's going to go down instead. All the hype over Templar Assassin living, but it doesn't matter when now Era's dead. They've taken another. Lina with the buyback. Empire going to fully commit to this one. Can the Templar Assassin come back and win this for them? Resolution lifts off the ultimate. Hanskin definitely goes down. Queen of Pain and Templar Assassin fighting up against 4 members of Empire. Silent is low, but certainly not low enough. Yule Scepter, Light Strike Array, Limp. Going to be taking a lot of damage here. Further controlled, goes out, and that's going to be it. NiP have no more buybacks. 100 seconds on the Queen of Pain, 80 seconds on the Templar Assassin, and there it is. GG, well played. Empire will take Game 5, the best of 5 winner bracket finals, goes to Team Empire. They are coming to Germany.
Very, very well played by them. I mean, like, if you just look at the graph of Empire's victory, you can see that they were just so much less shaky when it came down to